Today's question is, am I choosing the love that's choosing me? This episode is a dovetail from the last episode called Am I Subconsciously Avoiding My Soulmate, where we talked about all the things that you might be doing subconsciously that you don't realize that you're doing to not being in alignment or be dissonant with your hopes of attracting your soulmate. One of the examples was being in a relationship and flying past all the red flags. And I just kind of wanted to expand on that a little bit because I see women all the time who are saying that they want a lifelong commitment, say they want to be with their soulmate, but they're not necessarily dating men or women who want the same things. Hi and welcome back to Love on the Brain. I'm your host, Kay Van Dunk, and I help independent women who are single, divorced, or widowed find their soulmates while staying true to their high standards. In each episode, we dive into a frustrating question you may have about love. I'll share some insights, and then we can reframe it with an affirmation or ask-formation to help you lift your spirits. If you haven't already, please subscribe and leave a great review on whichever platform you're listening to this podcast on. Your reviews help other amazing singles find this podcast too. Okay, let's jump in. The choices that you're making when you're stepping out on every date or when you're engaging with every potential partner matters. And today we're going to be talking a lot about discernment and how to recognize, when somebody is really available versus what they say they're doing. So when you're with someone in a relationship, you have to pay very, very close attention to what is being shown to you of who they are. There's this Maya Angelou quote that's always stuck with me, and it's, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And it basically is saying that people are showing you their personality all the time, especially in a relationship. Don't be so quick to brush things off. Don't be so quick to excuse bad behavior or dismiss red flags and hope that it'll right itself along the way. Just keep them at the back of your head, because some of these red flags are very glaring and it's a deal breaker. And some of these red flags are problematic, but still something that you should pay attention to. So when you're in a relationship, if you're not doing these things, then it's easy to get sucked into a longer term relationship with someone because you don't want to be single and you're hoping that this person is someone you can spend a lot of time with or a long time with. But usually if they crop up once, they'll crop up again. And that's when you really have to decide, is this a relationship that you want to stick around in? Right? And there's a lot of signs early that are telltale that this is just not going to work. Like always being the victim, huge one, right? Everybody they were with is crazy, or everyone's out to get them, or it's not their fault. Maybe love bombing. Love bombing is something that's been happening a long time, but it's a phrase that I really love because it encapsulates something that happens to so many women, which is early on in the relationship, you're getting lots of attention, lots of gifts, maybe even using the word we and making long-term future planning from somebody you've not been with that long. And not only is it just coming on strong, but it's definitely a way to pull you in quickly and make you think that this is someone you're going to be with for a very long time. And it's a great way to put on blinders in a relationship early because it creates this false intimacy, really. There's also lying. I know people who've gotten into a relationship with someone who that person lied early on in the relationship, whether it was about their age or where they worked, whether or not they were employed, if they had kids, if they are or were married. These lies, big and small, are really problematic because guess what? When they come up later, that's the first thing that's going to go off in the back of your head because you're going to say to yourself, ooh, this person lied to me. And it should create a distrust in you immediately. Controlling behavior is also super problematic, telling you where to work or what to do, what to wear, how to speak to them. These are all ways that can really start to make you question yourself or lower your self-esteem and really bond yourself to this person more closely for their constant approval and input, which is also along the lines with and usually tied with jealousy. A lot of people take jealousy to mean, oh, this guy or girl is really interested in me. Look at all this attention that they're giving me. He's accusing me of this. He or she is doing all this stuff because they care about me so much. They love me so much. It's usually part and parcel with controlling behavior, so look out for that. Gaslighting is never far behind, right? To doubt your feelings, doubt what you're thinking or what you said in a past moment and bring it back to you in such a way you don't maybe really remember saying it, and it causes you to question yourself. And of course, bigger things like emotional or verbal or physical abuse. All of these things in a relationship, early on or long term, are major signs. And they don't always start off as ginormous, glaring, flashing, big red X, caution, do not pass go signs. They usually start out small, right? Because this person is testing you and checking your boundaries and maybe nudging them a little bit, or even seeing if they can get away with it. And if they can't, they disappear quickly. But if they can, they stick around and everything escalates. These are patterns as old as time. So when you see these signs, that's your answer, because it's not something that you need to stick around to see what happens next or tell yourself that it will be different or, God forbid, that you can fix it. You cannot, my dear. Another area where you have to spot signs early on that this relationship is not going to work is that if you don't agree on what I consider the big three, which is marriage, faith, and kids. If you know you want to get married someday and the person you're dating does not, end the relationship now, or vice versa. If you know that you don't want to have kids and this person does, end the relationship now. And even if it's vice versa, it's not going to work. If you are very, very religious and this person is completely atheist or agnostic, end the relationship now. It is not going to work. And yes, you may know that one person, the friend of a friend of your sister's, girlfriends, hairdressers, cousins, daughter-in-law, who was able to pull it off. Those stories exist almost as urban legend. They are so rare, and that's why they stand out, because for the majority of women, this is not a place you want to go. You don't want to wake up 7 years into a relationship and realize, wow, my partner really doesn't want to get married, or wow, my partner was really absolutely serious that he wants kids and I still don't. It's time to move on when you see things are not going to work, right? Because that goes back to, are you choosing the love that's choosing you? You're not. The love that's choosing you is someone who is mirroring back to you positive and affirming love, someone who is open and honest and trustful and caring and nurturing, versus the opposite. You want to mirror back to you someone who wants the same three big things in life that you do, versus the opposite. The right man or woman for you lives in certainty. When you know what you want, when you are crystal clear with what you want, you can walk into a date or into a relationship knowing exactly what you want. You will not only attract people who mirror that back to you, but you will also deflect everybody who doesn't. I know it sounds very simplistic, but believe me, this is ultimately about enforcing your boundaries. And I am a huge fan of boundaries, especially for strong, independent women who are looking for their soulmate. Boundaries are not only your friend, but they are your beacon in the storm. Because the moment you stop engaging with men or women who are not serious, who are not what you are looking for, the right person stands out that much better. You just have to be strategic with it. So, going back to the original question of the day, which is, am I choosing the love that's choosing me? So how are we going to shift your mindset around that, right? If this is not your strong point, you're trying to get there, I got an affirmation for you. And the affirmation is, why am I so magnetic to the kind of relationship I want? And that's Why am I so magnetic to the kind of relationship that I want? So again, we're going to try to cut down on some of the drag that's happening with finding or attracting your soulmate. Instead of living in potential, we are living in reality. Pay attention to who is showing up. Pay attention to who you are and what you want, and whether or not this is time to cut and run. I know that you can get into this kind of mental loop of, well, I've been with this person a few years, or we've gone through so much together, or we have a kid. You have to realize that even though you've put in time, even though you've put in energy, even though you may have created another human on this planet, if this relationship is not right, it is just not right, and it won't serve you going forward. So make some room for the relationship that you actually want and for the relationship that you most certainly deserve. I like to close out the podcast by asking what you're grateful for, because gratitude is the highest vibration of all. So just take a moment and think of one thing that you're grateful for. As always, I'm grateful to you for tuning in and love you for listening. And remember, when love is on the brain, asking better questions can lead to better answers. You know that deep down feeling that love is meant for you? That it's supposed to be easier than this? You're right. Love isn't something you chase. It's something you attract when you shift into the energy that calls it in. The problem isn't you. It's the way you've been taught to approach love. I help women break the cycle of overthinking and searching so they can finally start receiving the relationship they know is out there. That's exactly what we do in one-on-one coaching. We clear the hidden blocks, keeping love just out of reach, so it stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling inevitable. If that hit home, let's talk. Book a free discovery call with me in the link below, and let's shift this together.